Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our English Learning Podcast. My name is Julia, and I am very happy to have you here today. Today, we are going to talk about something very interesting. Have you ever thought that you can learn English while you are sleeping? Yes, it is possible. You don't have to be awake all the time to practice English. Your brain can still learn and remember words, phrases, and sentences while you sleep. In this podcast, I will explain how learning English while sleeping works. I will also give you simple and easy tips to make it effective. By the end of this podcast, you will know how to use your sleep to improve your English. So, get ready, relax, and let's start learning English in a very easy and fun way, even while you are sleeping. Now, let's talk about the idea behind learning English while sleeping. You might wonder, how is it possible to learn while you are asleep? When we sleep, our brain is not completely off. It is still working. During sleep, our brain organizes information we learned during the day. This means it can remember words, sentences, and sounds better. Scientists call this process memory consolidation. Learning while sleeping does not mean you will become fluent instantly. It helps your brain remember what you already know. For example, if you listen to English words or simple sentences before sleep, your brain can store them. Over time, this makes it easier to remember vocabulary and phrases. Sleep learning works best when it is simple and repeated. Your brain can catch familiar words, short sentences, and pronunciation patterns. It is not the same as studying while awake, but it can give a small boost to your learning. So, in simple words, learning English while sleeping is like giving your brain a little help to remember English. It works together with your regular study and practice. Now, let's talk about the benefits of learning English while sleeping. Why is it useful? The first benefit is improving your vocabulary. When you listen to English words or short sentences while you sleep, your brain can remember them better. Over time, you will know more words without extra effort. The second benefit is better listening skills. Listening to English sounds while sleeping helps your ears and brain get used to the rhythm, pronunciation, and accents of English. This makes it easier to understand English when you hear it during the day. The third benefit is better pronunciation. Your brain can learn the correct way to say words and sentences by hearing them repeatedly while sleeping. This helps you speak more naturally. Another benefit is remembering what you learned during the day. Sleep helps your brain store information, so the English you practiced earlier will stay in your memory longer. Finally, it builds confidence. When you notice that you remember words or sentences more easily, you will feel more confident to speak English. So, learning English while sleeping is like giving your brain a small, extra help. It makes your learning faster and easier when combined with regular practice. Now, let's talk about what you can actually learn while sleeping. It is important to know what works best so you can get good results. The first thing you can learn is words and vocabulary. Listening to new words repeatedly while sleeping can help your brain remember them. Start with simple and common words like numbers, colors, or everyday objects. The second thing is common sentences and expressions. Short sentences like, "How are you?" or "I like this" are easy to remember. Your brain can store these sentences while you sleep, so you can use them naturally later. The third thing is pronunciation and intonation. When you hear words and sentences with correct pronunciation, your brain can copy the sounds. This helps you speak English more clearly. You can also improve your listening skills. Listening to English while sleeping trains your brain to recognize sounds and patterns. Over time, you can understand English faster when you listen during the day. But remember, grammar is different. Learning grammar rules while sleeping is very difficult. It is better to study grammar when you are awake, and then use sleep learning for words, sentences, and pronunciation. So, in simple words, sleep learning is best for words, sentences, pronunciation, and listening. These small steps can make a big difference over time. Now let's talk about how to prepare for sleep learning. Preparation is very important because it helps your brain learn better while you sleep. The first step is to create a calm and quiet environment. Make sure your room is clean, quiet, and comfortable. Turn off lights if possible, and avoid loud noises. A calm environment helps your brain focus on learning while you sleep. The second step is to avoid screens and distractions before sleep. Try not to use your phone, computer, or watch TV right before bedtime. Bright screens can make your brain active and make it harder to sleep and learn. The third step is to choose the right English content. Pick something simple and easy to understand. For example, you can use short English audiobooks, beginner-level English podcasts, short sentences or vocabulary lists repeated several times. The fourth step is to keep the volume low. Your audio should be soft, like background sound. It should not be too loud or it can disturb your sleep. The last step is to relax before bed. Take deep breaths and think positive thoughts. When you are relaxed, your brain can absorb English better. So, in simple words, a calm room, quiet mind, easy English audio, and soft volume are the keys to prepare for sleep learning. When you follow these steps, your brain can learn English more effectively while you sleep. Now, let's talk about the best practices for effective sleep learning. These are simple tips that can help you get better results. The first practice is to listen regularly every night. Consistency is very important. If you listen to English audio while sleeping every night, your brain gets used to it and remembers more words and sentences. The second practice is to combine sleep learning with regular practice during the day. Sleep learning works best when you also study, read, or speak English while awake. This way, your brain connects what you learned while awake with what you hear while sleeping. The third practice is to repeat the same audio for several nights. Listening to the same words or sentences many times helps your brain remember them better. Don't worry if it seems repetitive. This is how your memory works. The fourth practice is to focus on short, simple sentences and clear pronunciation. Complicated sentences or fast speech are hard to remember while sleeping. Start with simple phrases like, "Good morning, I am happy," or "I like English." The last practice is to use content you already know a little. Your brain remembers familiar words more easily. For example, if you already know some basic English, repeat those words and phrases while sleeping. So, in simple words, listen every night, practice during the day, repeat audio, keep it simple, and use familiar words. These best practices can make sleep learning very effective and help you improve English step by step. Now, let's talk about some common mistakes that people make when trying to learn English while sleeping. If you avoid these mistakes, your learning will be much more effective. The first mistake is listening too loudly. Some people think that louder audio helps them learn faster, but loud sound can disturb your sleep. It is better to keep the volume soft, like background sound, so your brain can absorb information without waking you up. The second mistake is expecting to learn everything at once. Sleep learning is not magic. You will not become fluent instantly. It helps your brain remember words, phrases, and pronunciation little by little. Be patient and consistent. The third mistake is using complicated or fast English audio. Hard sentences, fast speech, or difficult words are very hard for your brain to understand while sleeping. Always choose simple and slow audio. The fourth mistake is forgetting to practice during the day. Sleep learning works best when combined with active learning. If you only listen while sleeping, it will not be very effective. Practice reading, speaking, and writing English during the day, and then your sleep learning will help even more. So remember these mistakes. Don't listen too loud, don't expect instant results, keep it simple, and always practice during the day. Avoiding these mistakes will make your sleep learning much better. Now, let me share a short story about someone who improved English using sleep learning. There is a student named Anna. She wanted to learn English, but she was very busy with school and work. During the day, she could only study a little. Then she tried listening to simple English audio while sleeping every night. She listened to short sentences and common words for 20 to 30 minutes. After a few weeks, Anna noticed something amazing. She could remember words more easily, and she could say simple sentences without thinking too much. Her listening also became better. She felt more confident when speaking English with friends. Anna still studied English during the day, but sleep learning gave her a small extra boost. She learned that even while sleeping, her brain was working to help her improve. This story shows that sleep learning can really help, especially when combined with regular practice. It is simple, small, and effective. Now, I want to give you some quick tips to get the best results from sleep learning. These tips are simple and easy to follow. The first tip is to make a short English playlist for bedtime. Choose simple audio with words and sentences you want to learn. Keep it short, about 20 to 30 minutes. The second tip is use repetition. Listen to the same audio for 3 to 5 nights. Repeating helps your brain remember better. The third tip is to write down a few words or sentences in the morning. After waking up, take a notebook and write what you remember. This makes your learning stronger. The fourth tip is to be patient. Learning English takes time. Don't worry if you don't remember everything at once. Every night your brain is learning a little more. The last tip is to combine sleep learning with active practice. Speak, read, or listen to English during the day, and let your sleep learning support it. If you follow these tips, your sleep learning will be more effective, and you will see real progress in your English. Before we finish, let's quickly recap what we learned today about learning English while sleeping. First, we talked about how your brain can remember words, sentences, and pronunciation even while you sleep. This is called sleep learning, and it works best when combined with regular practice during the day. Next, we discussed the benefits, like improving vocabulary, listening, pronunciation, and confidence. Then, I explained what you can learn, mainly words, short sentences, pronunciation, and listening skills. We also learned how to prepare for sleep learning, like making a calm room, avoiding screens, and choosing simple English audio. We talked about the best practices, such as listening regularly, repeating audio, keeping it simple, and using familiar content. We also covered common mistakes to avoid, shared a real-life story about Anna, and I gave you quick tips for maximum results. Remember, learning English while sleeping is not magic. It is small, extra help for your brain. Be patient, consistent, and combine it with your daily practice. Over time, you will notice real improvement. So, start tonight and give your brain the chance to learn even while you rest. You can do it. Thank you so much for listening to today's podcast about learning English while sleeping. I hope you found it useful and easy to understand. Now it's your turn to try. Tonight, prepare a short English audio, relax, and let your brain learn while you sleep. Remember, small steps every day lead to big progress. If you enjoyed this podcast, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share with your friends who want to learn English too. Stay motivated, keep practicing, and I will see you in the next episode. Good night and happy learning.